I married a broke man, then his private jet landed in Lagos. My name is Zainab Adeyemi, and the day I married a broke man at the Ikoyi registry was the day my destiny quietly laughed at me. The ceiling fan was struggling. My mother was already sighing like she'd been disgraced, and my aunties were whispering prayers I didn't ask for. Still, I signed that paper with steady hands. I didn't know that less than a year later, a private jet would land in Lagos for me, and everything I thought I knew about my husband would fall apart. His name was Daniel Akori, soft-spoken, respectful, the kind of man who greeted elders properly and never raised his voice. He wore simple shirts, used a cracked Android phone, and always said, "Money will come." In Nigeria, that sentence alone is enough to end a relationship, but I loved him anyway. We rented a small flat in Surulere. NEPA was wicked. Water came when it liked, and generators sang us to sleep. I worked in a fashion house on the island while Daniel stayed home, working online. I didn't ask questions. Love teaches silence before it teaches wisdom. The first strange thing was his discipline. Daniel woke up at 5 a.m. daily, dressed neatly even with nowhere to go, and took calls outside. His tone changed on those calls. Firmer, sharper, powerful. When I asked, he smiled. "Old friends," he said. In Lagos, that answer can mean anything. Bills started piling up. Rent was late. My boss began delaying salaries. I sold my gold bangles quietly, the ones my mother gave me for rainy days. Daniel watched me remove them without a word. That silence hurt more than poverty. One night, I broke down. I told him love wasn't enough if hunger joined the marriage. He held my face and said, "Zainab, trust me. Just a little longer." His eyes looked burdened. Then the landlord came with police threats. I begged Daniel to borrow money from anyone, church members, distant relatives, even loan apps. He nodded slowly and said, "Pack your bags tomorrow." My heart shattered. I thought he was done with me. The next morning, a convoy pulled into our street. Black SUVs. Men in suits. Neighbors peeping like it was Nollywood. One man opened the door for Daniel and called him Chairman. My knees nearly gave way. Daniel turned to me calmly. "We're going to the airport. At least tell me the truth," I begged. He sighed. "You're about to see it." At Murtala Muhammad Airport, we drove past normal terminals into a restricted area. And there it was, white, polished, silent power. A private jet, with D. Okori Holdings written boldly on its body. My husband was not broke. He was dangerous wealthy. Inside the jet, I refused the drink they offered. My voice shook as I asked, "Who are you married to me?" Daniel finally confessed. He was the only son of a billionaire industrialist, oil, logistics, tech. He had run away from that life after his mother died, tired of fake love and boardroom wars. He married me because I loved him with empty pockets. I felt foolish, angry, used. "You watch me suffer," I said. "I suffered too," he replied quietly. "But I was afraid you'd leave if you knew." We landed in Abuja, then drove into a mansion that looked like a government building. Staff bowed. Silence obeyed him. That night, I cried myself to sleep on Egyptian cotton sheets, missing my noisy Surulere room. The news broke fast. Blogs called me a gold digger. Distant relatives suddenly remembered my name. Even my mother asked, "So all this while, he was rich?" "Yes, and he still let me struggle." His family despised me. They called me a mistake from the streets of Lagos. They wanted the marriage annulled. That was the first time Daniel stood up for me publicly. "This woman married me when I had nothing," he said. "You will respect her." Zainab's hands trembled as she clutched the hem of her dress. Daniel's words echoed in the silent, judgmental room. "This woman married me when I had nothing. You will respect her." But before relief could settle, she noticed a shadow move behind one of the tall curtains, someone watching. Someone who clearly didn't want her in his life. Someone who knew a secret about Daniel that even he hadn't told her yet. Zainab's heart raced. What does he know? And will it destroy everything?